Good afternoon. Today we are talking about you became who you needed to survive. My name is Buffy. I'm a women's lifestyle creator on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, covering various lifestyle topics as well as also having two podcasts here on YouTube. One of them is Recovering Perfectionist Mama, Grace in Progress. The other one is it's a psychology channel. The other one is a true crime channel. I'm an almost 18-year criminal defense attorney, and I provide legal analysis on my channel, Grace and Gavel. So where truth meets compassion. So welcome. So today we're talking about you became who you needed to survive. Have you ever realized you didn't just grow up, you adapted? You learned who you needed to be for yourself because maybe you didn't have a particular role model or a person to guide you into adulthood and into other areas of your life to be able to guide you about what you should expect, what pitfalls to avoid, all of those things to potentially keep you safe and protected. And so that could be extremely difficult to navigate alone. And you definitely would need someone to be able to be there for you, right? I've been thinking about this a lot lately. The moment that you realize you didn't just grow up, that you adapted. You adapted to your surroundings. You adapted to things by watching other people who were successful. Welcome, my name is Buffy. Today we are talking about the moment that you realize you became who you needed to survive, right? And I've been thinking about this a lot lately, how we develop and how we grow and how certain aspects of ourselves become things that we actually needed that maybe we didn't have when we were growing up, right? A role model or a person to actually model and navigate for us how to actually go from being a child to actually being self-sustaining. And you became who you needed to survive in your environment. Whether that was an idea that you had somebody who was struggling to be able to raise you, or someone, hey guys, welcome Jens, welcome Christian Tilly. My name's Buffy, guys, welcome. Today we're talking about the moment you realize who you needed to become to survive. And a lot of us just aren't given a lot of the skills. Welcome, Jens, welcome. A lot of us aren't given a lot of the skills to survive because oftentimes our caregivers are unable or aren't sure how to navigate that with us. So we ultimately have to learn on our own. And how do we learn that? We learn that by finding someone who may or may not know, who can actually figure out and who seems to know how to navigate certain difficult topics. For a lot of people, it's financial things. For other things, it's emotional things. It's self-care things. It's things that adults know. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Rarest, happy. Love your name. Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And so we need to learn how to model that, essentially how to emulate that, right? How to copy that. And for a lot of people who didn't grow up with all the skill set that they may have needed, that's the way to do it, to figure out how other people are navigating certain things. And certain people come in born with that, basically because their parents prepared them a little bit better than other people. But that's not always the thing that keeps you from learning. You can learn on your own. You can become who you want to be. You can become a person who is respected. You can become a person who's knowledgeable on things, even if you were never taught it. by watching and emulating. And at times, a lot of times it can feel like you're pretending or you're trying to fit in. Ultimately, though, that's okay, right? Because a lot of people learn by watching what other people do and then model that in their own lives and use that to be able to get them to where they need to go. Absolutely, you can learn math. Math's not my favorite thing either, but ultimately, I mean, math makes the world go round, doesn't it? Unfortunately. So absolutely. I mean, I think you can learn anything. I mean, I think that given what you want to do, decide what you want to do. Be who you want to be, right? Be the person. You can do any types of math, any type of math. Multiplication is right. Get a calculator if you have trouble, right? We can all do that. We can all do that. And maybe you became the responsible one, right? The peacemaker, the strong one, the one who doesn't need anything from anyone. But guess what? Your family roles do not define you. You define you. You make the rules for who you are going to be, right? So you decide who you're going to be. No one can tell you who you want to be. You tell yourself, right? And so ultimately, you do need to have, maybe you make an older friend who actually teaches you and shows you some of the ways of the world, right? Like about finances or about certain topics that you may not be well versed in, right? That way you can grow and you can evolve and you can become things that you want to be. Maybe you want to get a college education. Maybe you want to get a trade education, any number of things, right? Social rules, social cues, if you're struggling with things like that. There are so many ways to be able to build yourself into what you want to be. Topics you're interested in, hobbies you like, right? The sky is the limit. Find someone or find a way to figure out who you admire and maybe go and have a conversation with them, right? That's all you got to do. You can be who you want to be. You can build your life. You don't have to follow in the footsteps of other people, your family or whoever. You can be you. You can create you. You can be successful if you want to be successful, right? You can be that person for yourself and for others. And as they say, when you succeed, pass it on down, help other people, right? Teach other people, right? I was first generation in my family to go to college, and then I ended up going to law school. But I did have people along the way encouraging me. And you need to find your people, your village. Your village isn't often who you're related to. It can be people that you have a connection with, that pour into you and you pour into them, right? That's what life's all about, making connections. Make connections, enjoy things. Be unapologetically yourself. Be proud of who you are and where you're coming from, because you deserve that. You're working towards that. And that's really important. And for a long time, your systems in the family worked because that's what you were used to. But when you know better, you do better, right? And when you realize that there's life beyond your family systems and your family expectations, a title that you earned when you were a child, you outgrow that. You evolve, you change, you live your dreams. You become something for someone else down the line. You show people what is actually possible. You don't have to be the wealthiest. You don't have to be the best looking. You don't have to be the smartest. You have to be the person willing to put in the work when no one else will. And guess what? There's a lot of people who miss opportunity. This is, I believe, a Teddy Roosevelt quote. Miss opportunity because it's dressed in overalls and it looks like work. And a lot of people don't want to do it. A lot of people don't want to put in the time. But if you want to put in the time, you want to put in the elbow grease to actually figure out how things work, you can definitely mark your path and make your path. Anyone can, right? Anything is possible. That's the thing that you need to keep telling yourself. Anything is possible. My dreams are possible. Anything is possible. And I can help other people too. And for a long time it works and it gets you through. But getting you through is only so much, because that's only half the story. Yes, survival is important, sure. But you don't want to be in survival mode too long, because survival mode affects your nervous system, and various other things, right? And so that's the thing, right, that it can do. And then you hit this moment, right, in motherhood or in relationships where you realize that version of you is exhausted because you are overrunning yourself. You are pushing yourself too hard. There has to be a balance. There has to be a balance between work and rest. Because if you continue to push at 100% every single day, you're going to become exhausted. And it's like a bone tired exhaustion to where you just cannot function almost, right? Where your brain is almost mush, right? Because the traits that helped you survive don't always help you feel safe, connected, or supported now, because they were a survival strategy that pushed you harder because you felt like you had something to prove. But guess what? You don't always have to prove anything. You don't owe anyone an explanation. The only person that you owe an explanation is a person that you want to offer an explanation to. But no one has a right to demand an explanation from you for any reason. It's up to you if you want to give it to them or not, right? And that's a hard realization, because it's like, who am I? If I am not the version that I was in my family role, where do I fit in this big world? You'll find a place. There's a place for everyone. A place for everyone, especially someone who has a good heart, a person who's honest, a person who works hard, and a person who can be true to themselves, because being true to yourself is extremely important. So I'm curious, what role did you have growing up? And do you feel like you're still carrying it? Yes, no? So the other thing too is, have you ever thought, what if your personality isn't actually your personality? And that could be based on your particular role growing up. Maybe you were given the role of the golden child because you were very intelligent, did a lot of things, and were achieving. So essentially, your family was very proud of you. But then you wonder, well, if I stop achieving, if I stop people pleasing, if I stop, being the golden child, who am I after that, right? And then, or if you've ever had the moment, I had a moment where I realized I became who I needed to survive, not who I actually am. And that is it's a sad, but it's also a beautiful place to be, because you can engage in self-awareness. You can start exploring who you actually are. And that can be a wonderful journey. You can learn things that you like, things that you don't like, try a lot of different things and figure out what literally lights you up. And that's your path. That's the thing that you want to do. That's the thing that brings you joy. We all need some joy. We all need some happiness, some laughter, some fun, right? And so ultimately, I think we all just end up adapting. We pick up different traits from different things that we've seen, and that's how we grow. That's how we evolve. That's how we develop into who we're meant to be. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I hope that you'll come back and see us again soon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.